Okay, so my assessment was that you could hear his voice, but barely. So I did turn it up a little bit. I mean, I'd rather err on the side of you not getting overwhelmed with the game sounds than having it. But anyways, let's get started. Okay, so there's several dimensions to this game. There's the For those of you who have played Panzer Corps 1 and even Panzer General back in the day, a lot of this is going to just be familiar to you, and there's going to be some new features that you're probably going to want to see, but for the most part, it's not going to be a huge surprise. Then there's those of you who play war games but never played this series before, and that, of course, is going to be a different dimension for you. And then there's those of you who've never seen the game or heard of it or don't play war games at all. So that obviously is going to be a different dimension. And I'm going to try to cater to all three as best as I can, but I also just want to show you how to play. So first of all, you have the map, and it's a pretty small map here. They will get much bigger. I'm pretty sure of that. And you can zoom in and out. Oh, I got to hit end briefing here. There we go. I was wondering why it was looking so grainy. Hopefully this looks a little better for you all. So you can see this is where our units are. And I would swear that I selected that I wanted to buy my own units, and it didn't do that. That's fine, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so they selected units for me to start the game with, and that's what you see here. Now, these are my objectives, and you can see I have visibility around the objectives because of that feature, that recon feature that I took. If I wouldn't have selected recon, this would all be a fog of war, just like everything else. Okay, so the next thing to understand is that you'll notice that some of these objectives have, obviously the green around it is that it's your objective. I didn't mean to be redundant there, but sometimes you'll see these little half circles, right? And then this is maybe a better way up here. That's a supply point. So one of the key things about this game that's different than Panzer Corps 1 or even Panzer General is that it now implements supply points, and your units will resupply every single turn. In the old game, you used to run out of ammo or run out of supply, and maybe you would have to like spend a turn just to rest, right? You would do no actions for a turn in order to get supply. In this game, you're always getting supply, and the supply comes from these points. And so this enemy unit right here that I just selected, as long as he can trace a path back to a supply point, he is considered under supply. And same for us. And you can see we have supply points that are these half circles as well. The other big thing that's changed from the base game is that planes are now assigned to an airport. And when you send your planes out to do an action, at the beginning of your next turn, they will immediately fly back and resupply at your airport. They always land at your airport at the end of every turn. So that's another difference. And I know for those of you that are new to the whole series, none of this might make a lot of sense, but hopefully it will over time. So each of your units, so let's say, I'm trying to think, where should I begin? First things first, this is your core slots. You can see there's 36 out of 36. So our core army is full. We're using up all of our core slots. And since we're using up all of our core slots, I couldn't purchase a new unit even if I wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead and try to purchase a unit just so I could show you all the different, choices that are in the game. And then this 500 here, it's called prestige. You could call it money, whatever. It's your resource in the game that you use to purchase troops. Okay. Now this little green sun is just showing that we have clear weather, which is perfect weather for battle. And then the one to the right is the forecast, and it even tells you what the accuracy is. So 100% chance that it'll be clear tomorrow as well. And of course, the 0 of 15 means you have 15 turns to win. This little hover here is reminding me of the choices I made. I can't overstrength, I can do deep recon, blah, blah, blah. And then over here, the prestige, it's showing that if I were to win the game this turn, I would get a 136% bonus to my prestige. That's not going to happen. And I get 70 prestige added every turn. And that's awesome as well. And the more flags I take, flags being these little cities, that increases my income per turn. And we'll look at that whenever we see that. So obviously, this is a resource management game. You want to increase your prestige as much as possible. You need prestige to buy new units. You need prestige to replace your damaged or destroyed units. You need it for everything. Okay, and so just to show you how that would work, let's click on purchase units. Now everything's grayed out because I don't have the core capacity to purchase these. But just to give you an idea, this is an engineer unit called the Pioneer, and you can see that these are the stats. There's all kinds of stats. So if you're a stat guru, this is the game for you. And then what it's showing, this 4 next to the tank, that's how many core slots it's going to take. So if I want to buy this unit, it's going to cost me 4 slots. I would need to have 40 core slots to be able to purchase this Pioneer. And then I can add this Opel Blitz truck transport to it for 0 additional slots, but it does cost extra money. And of course that gives me extra movement points, etc. And so that's the idea. And the Pioneer units are considered more elite because they're your engineer units and they get some nice bonuses. Also, you can overstrength these units, but of course that's shut off because I made it so I can't do overstrength in this game. One of the things I think is new to this game is that these engineer units actually give bonuses to other regular infantry as long as they're next to the engineer. And one of the key things is like entrenchment. Everybody that's next to an engineer will entrench 1 level quicker. And then the engineer will give them bonuses when they're attacking bunkers. Right here, entrenchment support. All adjacent friendly units entrench at double speed. And then as a military engineer, they ignore enemy entrenchment, which is big. And it even explains what that means. Units' accuracy is not affected by the enemy entrenchment level. So if an enemy has entrenchment, your accuracy is going to get reduced. This is new to this particular game. If you have a 10 strength unit, just imagine rolling 10 dice. And you have a 50% chance of whether you hit or not if you're attacking another unit that has no entrenchment. But if they have 1 level of entrenchment, now it may become 40% or 30% or whatever. Military engineers ignore all that. And then you can see if there's an engineer next to both attacking friendly unit and its target, then the friendly unit will also ignore half of the entrenchment. So just 1 engineer unit can help everybody around it quite a bit. And so you don't need to have an army full of all engineers. And that helps because you can see that the Ver infantry here is 1 less core slot, right, to have them. And if you compare that to the Pioneer has 8 attack against soft targets, which is infantry, and 8 attack against tanks. Well, if you go to the Ver infantry, they have 11 attack against soft targets, 7 against tanks. So they're actually better at taking out other infantry. But if you have a Pioneer next to them, and you can see by hovering over the Pioneer, you can see them compared together. So you can see that I'm looking at this column right here, the Pioneer have a lower attack strength, but the 2 together can be really powerful. So this game at first may seem like there's not a lot of depth to it, but there's a ton of depth to this game. And then of course the Grenadier unit is going to have a little bit better anti-tank capability. And then it goes on. I mean, you have tanks, you have recon, anti-tank. I mean, you just go on and on and on in terms of purchasing your units. There's so much to choose from. And yes, everything takes core slots, so you got to be really careful. Okay? One other thing is overstrength. In the older games, you had to have 1 level of experience in order to overstrength your units. So all units would have like 10 strength, And then if you had 1 level of experience, you could then go to 11 strength. That's not true anymore. You can overstrength to 15 right from the start of the game if you really wanted to. It's just that it's going to take extra slots, core slots. So you can have all overstrength units, but that'll consume extra core slots, so you won't be able to have as many units. So that's going to be one of the things we're going to have to really play with this game. But remember, I shut off overstrength, so I'm not going to get to play with that in this particular one. Okay, I know there's a lot of stuff. Just some basic things. When you select an infantry, you can see their entrenchment level. This is the enemy infantry I'm looking at. You can see how much ammo they have, how much fuel. This is their health. So they're overstrength, this particular one. And they don't have any suppression. Suppression basically is the unit's not dead, but they're also not able to participate in any battles. And that, of course, is for the remainder of the round, which is also slightly different from the last game. And then, if we select one of our own units, you can see the same thing. Here's our Panzer 2C. It's got, fuel, etc. These are all the different commands we get to do for that Panzer 2C, and so forth. So if I scroll out far enough, it goes into a strategic mode. So you can look at the map this way, or scroll in and see it a little bit more 3D. I don't mind the 3D at all. It seems a little green at the moment, but the 3D doesn't bother me too much. I do want to turn on the hexes. I don't know. Let's see. Screen resolution. How about display? There we go. So I like seeing the hexes. I know some people don't, but those of you grog nerds that are used to this, you probably know what I'm talking about here. We like to see our hexes. So now, with the Fog of War, there's probably a unit here over this particular city hex, so I can't just charge in. But I at least know what's at these objectives. So let's go ahead and get started. So my strategy is, obviously you want to attack with your artillery as often as you can, and your planes. So for example, oh, I'm in deployment phase. I'm playing this as if I'm ready to start. I have nothing to deploy because all the units were purchased for me. And I know I hit that button that said I wanted to purchase my own units, so I must have unhit it or something, or maybe didn't save it. Anyways, I'm going to end the deployment phase. Here we go. Now we're ready to go. Another thing about this game is you'll notice that you have these little truck icons. This, of course, is showing my my distance that I can move. Now, the artillery will get loaded onto a transport if I move more than just one space, right? So I can move one space, but if I move 2 spaces, I go into a transport. But you'll see this little upside down chevron here. That means that I'll move 2 spaces with the transport, but because I had extra movement points left, I will have enough time to unload my my artillery, so they won't get attacked in a transport. Because they're very vulnerable when they're in the transport mode. The trucks are very easy to destroy. But if I don't move the whole way out, and I go where the reverse chevron is, that means I have enough movement points left to unload my artillery and basically entrench myself. So that way, if I do get attacked, I'm not going to get attacked like I would if I were in a transport truck. Now here, you'll see I would be in a transport truck and I'd be very vulnerable. So that's some of what's going on here. So I want to go ahead and attack that infantry. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you'll see I damaged 1, that was the red number, and then 5 of it was suppressed. And I'm going to select the infantry, and you'll see 5 suppression here, and then 1 of its damage. So technically it's at an attack strength of 9 for the round. 1 unit is actually dead, 5, of course, is suppressed. And then I still have movement points, and I'll do that in a second. So I'm going to click on this particular infantry, or yeah, I can't do anything with him yet, but I'm going to go ahead and move this guy forward. Ooh, there's a lot of good choices here. Yeah, I'm going to move this guy forward to that. And this one, ooh, I can't move all the way up. I made a mistake. I'll go to there. Alright, so we were able to suppress 3 and destroy 1. I have my recon here. That's what I really wanted to do. So that's down there. And then this guy's the one that I screwed up on. He can't move anywhere. Or anywhere useful, at least. Okay, so let's do our planes before we do our tanks. And this is, by the way, is our dive bomber. And that's a good one to go after, but I'm going to go after this guy down here. Now, in other games, you can move away and then make room for another bomber to come in. That's not the case with this. So that was my one shot. If I want to hit this with an air unit, again, I have to force him to retreat from his hex. So definitely a big difference from previous games. These are fighters, so I am going to send one to harass this unit. And I did do 1 damage. And then my other fighter, I'm going to send down here to protect my bomber. He's basically just going to provide support in case there's an enemy fighter that comes after our bomber. So here, what I'm going to do is I have 2 infantry that have not yet attacked. Oh, by the way, what do these numbers mean? The chevron, let me zoom in for you here. This chevron means it's a core unit. The 10 means it has 10 strength, so that's full health. These little white pips are the amount of ammo it has. The red means that it can still attack. The green means it can still move. That's all. The red and green go away after you attack and move. And you'll see, like here, I attacked, but I have not yet moved. And here I moved and attacked. And here I moved but did not attack. So you'll see all the different flavors. So I'm going to go ahead and... Now, this is a perfect example of them working together. I'm going to attack this anti-tank whatever, and you'll see that the engineer is showing up, the word engineer, because they're actually helping me. The engineer unit is actually giving me a bonus against their entrenchment. Alright, so we just killed 3, and then the engineer unit itself is going to go ahead and attack. Oh, and then they retreated, which doesn't do me any good, but they're down to 3 health. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now here, what I'm going to do strategy-wise is I'm just going to use the tank that's the furthest in the rear and keep coming forward as best as I can. And I'm going to try to flank these guys, so that way if they're coming from the north, like the general said, they're not going to really be able to do much damage. So this particular one, I have a... Ooh. I'm assuming that there's nobody here, so I'm going to go ahead and take that city. Sweet. So here you can see I just got 75 prestige. That little 75 hovered over. And my prestige per turn hasn't changed yet. So I guess the smaller town didn't necessarily do that for me. And then this particular tank, I could either move way out, or I'm going to just go finish this guy off. Oh, there we go. And then I just revealed a cavalry. So they were overrun, and I did not mean to do that. So I ended up moving into that space. That was not intentional. All right, and then I can go ahead and move, and they will disembark. So I'm going to go ahead and move to there, and then you'll see they disembarked again because they had enough movement points. That is an awesome feature that the previous games never had. Okay, so I believe that's everybody. There's a little next unit button, so you can see here my my recon can attack. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I did lose one unit, but I made them lose two. And you can toggle air mode, which lets you see the air units. Sometimes they're hard to see because of the units that are sharing the same hex. And then strategic mode, of course, is that. And you do have an undo function, which the options let you change around. You can make it unlimited, but I can only do it 3 times a turn. The designers explain this. These games are notorious for save scumming, meaning you can save your game, see how it turns out. If you don't like it, you go back, reload, and redo your turn, right? So instead of constantly save scumming, which is a little annoying, even as a player, it's not very much fun. You can set how many undos you get a turn. So if something happens, you don't like it, you can always just undo it and say, oop, that was a bad move. You can go back and change it. Okay. So I think I'm ready to hit end turn, so I will go ahead and do that. And there comes the fighter, or the bomber. And they just, looks like they suppressed my unit by 4. They also caused me to lose some ammo. Ugh, I didn't expect the cavalry to get all the way down there. That was a bad move on my part. So yeah, my artillery just gets getting hammered. And did you see how my planes flew back? Okay, so big mistake on my part was to let this artillery take a hit. My artillery is, you can see here, I'm at 224 experience. If I do elite replacements, it's going to cost me 209 prestige. That was like I said, it was a huge mistake. Or I can spend 111, but I'm going to lose experience points. And you can see that it's saying 224 minus 125 equals 99. So I will drop to 99 experience. I have to do it. That was a very big noob mistake on my part. So my apologies there. Obviously, when you do that, that's all you get to do. That uses your attack and your move points. So my recon can move in, take the location, and then keep moving, which is good. And it's a little hard to see, but there's an anti-tank in, I don't know how to pronounce this, Bydgoszcz, I think. So I need to be careful there. My recon does give an accuracy bonus if it's next to units, so I'm going to go ahead and move up, give an accuracy bonus to this artillery. And then I'm going to go ahead and move the artillery down to here to position it for attacking that next turn. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this infantry in. And you saw the little recon thing appear. He had an accuracy bonus from the recon. And yeah, so let's just go in and try to mop some stuff up. So that's really good there. I'm going to try to use this tank, have it come down, help out down here. And this particular infantry, yep, we're going to just try to finish them off. Alright, so you can see we have this cavalry unit up here. It's probably going to take all 3 of my tanks to finish that off. But let's start first with my fighter planes, and let's try to take out. And again. So I got it down to 1 health. And then let's take our, let's go ahead and dive bomb this guy. We took out 5. And let's see if we can cut him off from supply. So watch this. He's encircled right now. And now why is that? Remember, enemy action Ardennes rules, if you've watched my channel on that particular game. This tank is creating zone of control all around it. And you can see the little green is showing you the supply of this cavalry. So by having a tank here in this city and this tank over here, he's unable to trace a path anywhere. And my artillery, which I ended up having to leave here, is actually helping. So he's actually encircled right now. Now, if I were to move this tank away, he would not be encircled anymore. So that's something you got to bear in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and attack him while he's encircled. And I know it doesn't say I'm getting a huge bonus from that, but I am. So let's try. So there you go. He went back. He's still encircled, which is good. And so I'm going to try to move forward, and let's see if we can finish him off. And we overran him. So overrun just means that you can see he still has an attack and move available. But unfortunately, there's nothing left to attack, so I can just move one space and be done. And then this guy, I'm going to go ahead up and let's just start picking off him. That was really good. And then you see here there's another unit coming in trying to reinforce these cities. So I think that was a good round, other than my one noob mistake in the beginning. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and hit end turn. So they just attacked my tank. Alright, so let's start with our planes. And let's bomb something. Well, you know what? I can come down here and... this guy's entrenched. We're going to go after him. 2 damage. I'll take it. We're going to move 1 forward with him and suppress. We suppress 2. This artillery isn't going to be able to hit anything, but I'm going to go ahead and just move it to the city, or whatever that location is. Then I have 2 fighters here. So far it doesn't seem like they have any fighter units. They just have that 1 bomber. So I'm just going to use my fighters to strafe whatever we can. The mouse sensitivity is a little bit high with the scrolling, but I'm sure I can change that in the options. Alright, so I'm going to just keep using... Oh, that tank is not quite as good. Let's see if we can maybe get some kind of encirclement going here. This is a mass attack, so I'll get to do double damage. And that's because we're basically flanking that unit. I can't quite get there with my infantry. Didn't set that up really well. But I am going to send 1 infantry north to help out. This tank, he can make it. So we're going to go head up. Yeah. And then we're going to go ahead and attack with this one. Yep, I figured that was going to happen. And then, yeah, we'll scooch forward. And then we're going to move in with our overrun because I want... So we just encircled him, see? And if I hit end turn, with them being encircled, they're going to lose entrenchment every round, and they can't resupply. So I am going to take some losses here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Ooh, I did 5 damage to him. And I might even be able to finish him off. And I did. Whew. Okay, I did take some losses, but that was, I think, still a good outcome. We're going to go ahead and... I want to make sure... Nope, I can't get my infantry in there. So I can move my recon in, but it's not going to do very well against an anti-tank like that. And my infantry are just not able to get there. So we'll just get them close. Then we're going to have to stop there. Hit end turn. Oh, here comes a tank. So I think I might be able to strafe a tank pretty well. Let's do that. I'm gonna try to continue to bomb this. Let's continue to suppress it. And then let's bring my infantry forward. And yeah, they got a bonus from the recon. Yeah, that was big. That's what I was expecting. Then with the recon, I'm gonna come in, take the location for 150, take that out, and let's hover over. I'm still just getting 70 prestige per turn. And then I just took the airport for 75. And this guy can attack, but what we're going to do is we're going to use this new feature called Rebase Aircraft. And I'm going to put him on this airport. Now the game did say if you lose the airport, you lose the planes. So be extremely careful there, folks. Alright, and then this infantry can take losses, but I think I'm going to use, yeah, let's use my artillery, do some suppression there. And I think I want to take these objectives, but I want to come up. That's Fog of War, so I want to be careful before I move into there. So I'm going to wait before I move. Let's do this infantry, yeah. So we just did 3 damage. And he's really damaged bad. And I'm going to go ahead and I know being on a bridge is not the greatest thing in the world, but we're going to move down to here. And that'll protect our airfield. Also, we're going to be flanking these cities, so we're not attacking over a river. That's the point I'm really hoping for. And since this city, particular Shelmno, it's not a supply point. You can see Grudziad's is, so we can actually encircle this and prevent them from getting supply. At least that's my thought. I haven't played this enough to tell you for sure, but that's my thought. And yeah, we'll move our artillery up. Let's see. I think I want to take one of my tanks, try to finish this guy off. He's got 2 health and they're both suppressed. So yeah, we're going to go ahead down, see what we can do. We got him. And yeah, we'll move forward. Let's do some exploring here. And thankfully, I didn't get ambushed by that cavalry. Go ahead and attack. Then we have an infantry here. We'll just move straight across. Okay, I think that's everybody. Let me check. Oh, I can still move with my... Sure, that'll protect my infantry on the bridge. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and hit end turn. There it comes. Tank coming in. Artillery. I'm sorry, not artillery, but they're going after my artillery. That was not good. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, turn 5. We got a little bit of issue up here in the north. I don't know if my planes are going to be able to reach. Oh, look at that. I'm 1 space short. So I need my plane to rebase here, but that takes my whole turn. That's what stinks about it. But I'll go ahead and do that, and then my fighter that is available, I can do 2 damage here, but I'm actually more worried up north. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this guy. That's pretty good. My infantry can do some damage. Let's see what the... Oh yeah, the tanks Let's see if I can encircle this guy. There we go. And I can do massive damage. Let's do that. So 3 damage there. 3 damage there. He retreated. I think I'm going to move up. So I probably want to get reinforcements with him. I hate to do this because I want to keep my infantry moving, but I think I have to do it this way. So I encircled him again, but see how he just left encirclement again? So my infantry I can move down like this, which is, it is what I'm going to do. And I would love to hit that one more. You know, I could have hit it with my planes. Now that he retreated like this, he was in range of those planes I rebased. So that's another lesson learned. I think I want to replace... Yeah, that's twice now with that unit I've had to replace. Now this one, he's got a lot of experience, so I am going to spend the elite. Get him up to 8. Up there you can see their plane. They have 1 strength up there. Okay, so what do we do here? I think I want to just move down. Yeah, because he can move up 1. And then my artillery here. There we go. So we suppressed him by 1. Looks like I can do 2 damage there. And then I'm going to get out of this way. Oh, I got him encircled. I probably should have done that first. Yep, let's go ahead and attack. And then we have this unit. Not quite able to move very far. Yeah, I think if I redid this round, I could have done a better job. But that's okay. It's the first mission. I just did 3 more damage. Those early Panzers weren't all that great. Oh, they just did 6 damage. Jeez Louise. Okay, so now we got our fighters, our bombers, everything. Let's see if the fighter can finish this guy off. I probably could have overrun him, but that's just as good. This fighter is going to go ahead and take out that already heavily damaged one. Then my bomber's got some choices, but I'm going to go ahead and bomb this particular city up here because he's looking strong and I didn't even do any damage. So we got our artillery. Let's move in. Damage what we can. I definitely need the artillery to eventually be able to hit that city. Let's bring in our tanks. And I think an encirclement is in order here. We got it down to 1 health. Oh, I have 1 guy left. I'm not worried about that city yet until I can artillery it a little bit more. And this is the city. Chelmno is our next one that we're really worried about. So yeah, I can move my infantry in all the way. I am going to have to move this one out of the way before I can use my artillery. Let's see what we can do here. That works. So we got, yeah, see, Chelmno's encircled. So you can encircle the whole city, which is awesome, because it's not a supply point. And I'm going to move, so my recon's going to be here, which will give an accuracy bonus to both of those infantry. Then I'm going to move my artillery in and get an accuracy bonus. So now I'm finally playing this game properly. And let's go ahead and see. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and do this one first. That was my engineers. They ignored entrenchment. And then this guy gets the engineer bonus, which ignored half of the entrenchment. And you just saw I eliminated everybody. And then this guy is going to come across. And we just got 150 prestige. It's still 70 a turn. I guess nothing causes it to go up, but 70 a turn is still good. You can see they got they got 4 units actually around Grudziads. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so my apologies. And yeah, I think that's it. So not too intimidated by cavalry unless of course I'm on a transport. That one might hurt. Oh, didn't hurt as bad as I thought. Okay, so I want to be a little more wise with my planes here, but first things first, I am going to artillery that. 3 suppression, I'll take it. Let's take my fighter and finish off this plane up here just to get some good experience. That's always good. Let's take my bomber and I think we want to help out up here for now. That dealt 1 damage. And then I still have a fighter left, so I'm going to go ahead and take out this artillery. So I'm going to come over. So I attacked their artillery, I did 3 damage to them, and then what they did was they only suppressed me. They didn't do damage. So that's good. Let's come in with our infantry and see if we can damage this artillery a little bit more. And I know I can move 1 space with my artillery. Sure. We'll do that. Let's attack. I think we should finish off the artillery. Yep. See, now, the thing is I don't think I'm capturing equipment, because you only capture it if you have them encircled. So, that's another level to this game, is, like, right now I'm just eliminating units, and of course I'm you know, winning in my own way, but, if I, like, encircle this anti-tank unit, for example, and can, you know, eliminate it, then that adds a whole new dimension. But as you can see, my tank is going to get crushed. And then also going to get crushed there. These tank units just aren't equipped to take that city. They're really not equipped to do anything. This one can at least hit there, but... yeah, we can at least encircle him. Boy, this is brutal. Yeah, 2 damage each. That's 1 damage each. I don't know if I want to do it. And then that's 4 damage. I can at least go take the airport, so I'm going to go do that. And this guy can't take anything. I don't think I can encircle a supply depot. Yeah, see that? This would normally encircle them, but I can't do that. So, because they supply themselves. Well, I just need to wait another turn. So let's do that. I'm trying not to reinforce my damaged units because it costs more. Like, if you reinforce them in between missions, it's a lot cheaper, prestige-wise. And, you know, you're trying to save prestige as much as you can. So let's bring this up and use my artillery to soften them. So there you can see I did another damage for suppression. I think with my bomber, I still want to go up and help these guys because it's all tanks up here, so tanks aren't quite as good. With my infantry, I'm going to take out this anti-tank unit as best as I can, and then position my infantry to help take that city next turn. This particular tank unit, yeah, see, look, that's just suicide. Was able to overrun, which was great. This tank is not going to be able to do anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move in. I don't think I can encircle this either, but I'll at least try. Move that up. Yeah, none of these are going to have great attack odds. I got to wait one more turn for that infantry. But in the meantime, I'm going to move this artillery closer. And see, this engineer unit is pretty damaged, but I'm still going to move it in because he's going to give a 50% reduction to entrenchment. So when I move this guy in, he gets the engineer bonus and a mass attack bonus. And then I'm going to put my recon here, which will give them an accuracy bonus. But yeah, that's also bad. Everything's bad. Let's just strafe it. Try to reduce their entrenchment a little bit. And here's my other fighter, which can't do anything. I should have used him earlier. My mistake. Yeah. So let's wait another round. Ooh, they attacked me. Oh no! I lost a tank. That was awful. That was so awful on my part. That's going to cost me a lot of prestige. That was stupid of me. It's my first play. I would probably, like after this, just, okay, now I got a hang of it. I'm going to start over and try again. All right, so I artilleried them, got some suppression going. They're down to 5 units. You can see. So I'm going to now bring my infantry up. It's still not a great odds attack, but we can send a plane up. Get it suppressed a little bit more. I'll think about that. This particular artillery, help out here. Let's get my bomber in. Can't believe he took out. See, that's the thing. The AI is being aggressive there. That was impressive, actually. This is bad odds, but I'm going to try. Ugh. Well, I got him reduced. I don't want to attack yet. I'm going to need another round with them. Yep, let's go for it. I got 2 of them, they got 2 of me. There we go. Oh my gosh. They even took the city. Overrun. And then we're going to take this bridge, which is another flag. So we got ourselves some nice prestige up there. Like, I'm tempted to move him in like this, but not anymore after that last time. So big mistake were made. I'm going to move in that artillery, and it looks like I need one more round. All right, one more round coming. Let's go in and bomb. Let's move in the artillery and attack. Let's attack with the artillery. They should be fully suppressed, and they are. So this should be a cakewalk. Okay, so even if I wouldn't have killed them, they would have retreated. Because when they're fully suppressed like that, I think if they're 75% or 80% suppressed, that's the grounds that causes them to retreat. So I'm going to go in and take the objective, and I won. So this is where it tells you I mean, they all gained experience points. Don't get me wrong on this. It's just that they need 1,000 experience points before 1 star lights up. And then they can have 3 heroes. And then, of course, they earn medals. And then this is talking about how many points they earned for points that they killed. How many strength points that they killed. And how much they lost and how much that's going to cost us. So the ratio, of course, is we did 233 points of damage and received 0, so it's a high ratio for us. You can change the difficulty, which is always cool. Review the battlefield, and then we can go ahead and hit continue. And so a couple of things.
General. I've got good news for you. Your successes in the Danzig corridor, coupled with von Rundstedt's advances south of you, have virtually encircled the Polish capital of Warsaw. In order to prevent our enemy from establishing a second line, I'm ordering you deep into the Polish interior.
Okay, so
ultimate objective lies all the way in distant Vlodova, here on the Bug River. Along the way, our friends in the Luftwaffe have requested you to pacify the eastern outskirts of Warsaw. This airfield here houses the last vestiges of the Polish Air Force, and clearing them out would grant us complete dominance of the skies. Forward elements of 10th Army have secured Puławy here, but they lack the resources to advance on their own. I suggest reinforcing them if necessary. We don't want the Poles to retake the airfield we're currently holding on to. Good luck, Herr General.
Okay, so I don't know how well the voice sounded. I did turn it up just a tiny smidge from the last time. But basically, he's saying that they have Air Force here in Warsaw. They want us to take that out. That we have risk of losing this territory down here, so we need to get that reinforced. And then, of course, Vlodova is the primary target. I'm going to go ahead and hit end briefing here. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to hit end briefing, but yeah, we're at a point now where we're going to end the video. That was my very first time ever playing Panzer Corps 2. Obviously, mistakes were made. I think you could be a lot more efficient and definitely not lose that tank like I did. The weird thing about games like this is you sort of have to have a level of perfection, or otherwise you fall behind and you can't keep up. And prestige is usually always a case where you never have enough. And if your prestige ever, if I'm wasting prestige buying new tanks, then to replace tanks I already have, then I'm not using that prestige to upgrade the tanks I already have. You see what I mean? So I'm not too concerned yet because with the way core slots are used in this game, I only had 36 core slots. So by losing a tank that used 2, I can maybe upgrade my other tanks so they'll use more core slots, but yet at the same time, I don't know, it might work out. The other thing that's going through my mind is there was that no Air Force, no artillery rule. This game let me have 2 Air Force at the start of the game. And I don't know if that Air Force includes bombers or if it's just the fighters. I'd have to go check that again. But you start with 2 fighters and a bomber. And we also started with 2 artillery. I may not need more than that the entire game. Because with 2 artillery, I can basically have two groups, right? 1 artillery goes north, 1 artillery goes south. I'm guessing at some point in the game it would be nice to have a third. And then as far as like fighters go, I don't know if having 2 fighters the whole game is sufficient. I mean, I can tell you having more than 1 bomber would be nice. So those are the things that are going through my head. Like, could I check those options and would it work for me? Because getting 3 points towards having perks would be awesome. And if I can check both of those boxes and then get 6 points towards perks, I mean, that's even more awesome because then I can reduce the amount of core slots my tanks and infantry are taking. There's so many things going through my mind of what I could do. And then, of course, one thing I'm curious about is if I selected those options where I can't recruit artillery or Air Force, can I still do prototypes? Or recruit them that way, or get one through capturing enemy equipment. I really think this game is like you may have to become a master at capturing enemy equipment to get really good at this game. But anyways, those are my thoughts, and this is Panzer Corps 2. That was the first mission. I'm definitely planning on doing more. I'm so happy to have this game. I'm having an absolute blast, and I know I do play war games on the. This is a board gaming channel, and we do war games all the time. I wish the board games were more like this. This is to me the perfect. This is a board game on a computer, and that's why I love this game so much. And it keeps track of so much for me. It sets the game up. All the missions are already set up. There's wonderful strategic choices to be made. The AI is controlled. I don't have to sit there and figure out the AI. um, so many wonderful things about this. But as always, uh, stay awesome. And with all this corona nonsense going on right now, stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in a few.